Boker or Masechet Kiddushin Daf Lamedaled Amud Aleph 34a1 says the Gemara. We were just speaking about the difference between mitzvah taseh shazman grama and mitzvah taseh shelo zman grama. Remember, the women are exempt from mitzvah taseh shazman grama. What exactly is considered mitzvah taseh shazman grama? Obviously, sukkah, because the sukkah is only b'chag Sukkot. It's not all the time. Lulav is only during the Sukkot. Shofar is only on Rosh Hashanah. Tzitzit is going to be only during Beged back and forth, and it has to do only during the daytime, not during the nighttime. Tefillin is the same thing. So therefore, and it's not going to be on Shabbat and Yom Tov. So basically, anything which is going to be time bound is called a mitzvah tasher shazman grama. Women are exempt, and anything which is not time bound, for example, mezuzah is 24/7. Ma'akeh, right, which is the fence on the top of the roof to make sure nobody falls, right? Ashavat avedah, right, returning a lost object, or shiluach haken. All these things are considered mitzvah taseh shelo zman grama. Why? Because it is not time bound. It's a mitzvah which is 24/7, 365. Says the Gemara, uklalahu. Are you going to come and tell me that this klal, right, is like that's it? You know, there's a general rule and there's nothing what to talk about. What about matzah? Hare matzah, right, is on the first night of Pesach. It's only on Pesach. It's only on the first night, so it's a mitzvah tasher shazman grama, right? And simcha. What is simcha? We know that there's a mitzvah of simcha on shalosh regalim. Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot. We have simcha, the mitzvah of simcha, or right, the mitzvah of hakel. Hakel was a mitzvah on Motzei Shavuot, and Nashiv v'Taf. Everyone used to come to the Beit HaMikdash after Motzei Chag Sukkot in order to come and to hear the Melech come and read the Sefer Torah in the Azara. So, one second, all of these things are the mitzvah taseh shazman grama. All of these things are mitzvah, whether it's only because of a Sukkot after Shemitah, whether it's Shalosh Regalim, whether it's Matzah, and these are mitzvah and still Nashim Chayavot. So what are you coming and telling me that Kilu, this is the general rule? What the general rule? There's a problem here. The two, and furthermore, Talmud Torah, Pidyav Rivya, Pidyon Ben, there it's not mitzvah taseh shazman grama. Meaning learning Torah is 24/7, 365. Pidyav Rivya, you always have to have children. Pidyon Ben, right, is also, you know, like what exactly, right? All these mitzvot are not mitzvot taseh shazman grama, right? And still, nashim turot. So therefore, I'm going to ask you on two sides of the coin. I'm going to prove to you that there's some mitzvot which are mitzvot taseh shazman grama, and women are obligated. And I'm going to show you some mitzvot which are not mitzvot taseh shazman grama, and women are exempt. So what's going on then? So Rabbi Yochanan comes and he says, you're right. En lemedin min haklalot, which means when you come and you have a kol, you know, kol this or kol that, we cannot come and learn, right, all the dalachot from there, because remember that every single rule has an exception to the rule. Meaning there's a rule, there's an exception to the rule. So when you come and you say kol, which that's a klalut, you're coming and you're anything which is like this, right, that's klalut, right? Right? And even if it's going to be a place where it says chutz midavar ploni, right? Which means that we're not going to say it's only this. And still we're going to say that when it says kol mitzvah tasher or kol, it's lav davka. Why? Because you're going to have certain cases which it's not. The Tanambas we learned in a Mishnah. Bakol me'arevin or mishtatefin. You could do an iruv, right? Remember, iruv is iruve chatzerot. You used to combine all the chatzerot together, which are the courtyards together. Mishtatfin ishtatfut is shitufei mevot, which means you had the courtyards and then you had a small corridor in between, right? So what happens is that that's called shitufei mevoot. So therefore you have your own courtyard and then you have a shituf mavoi, which is like the small street in between. Right nowadays, if you just want to understand, if we're gonna which one?
Two houses.
You have, for example, Carlisle and 95th. Yeah. Carolyn line and 95th, you have the houses. So let's pretend that the houses are each one their own chatzer, because inside the chatzer, which is their property, that's where they have the house. And then you have the actual street that's like a private alleyway. So that's called a mavui. So that's mavui umishtatfin. So that means you could do any type of an eruv, right? Averuve chatzerot or mishtatfin, bakol. What is bakol? Any type of food. Chutz mina mayim umelach, except for salt and water. Okay. And therefore, it comes and it says, so you see from here, right, that we're talking about that it's not considered mazon. Now, 1 second. Is it only going to be, meaning, one more time, I had bakol. Bakol means, sorry. Bakol means you could use any type of food. And then I came and I told you, except for salt and water. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to tell you, well, there's nothing else. V'tu leka, there's nothing else. Vayika, we do have other things. Keminu Pitriot. What are Kemein? Right? No. Right? What? Okay. There's Mavui Mufulash right? Kemeinu Pitriot. When we're talking about Kemeinu Pitriot, which are types of, for example, like mushrooms and things like that, which is not considered a mazon. But rather, so you see from here that even from a general rule, and even if it's going to be written chutz, there's still other things other than the chutz. Because you only told me bakol, you could do it with any type of food. Then I told you except for exceptions 1 and 2, melach v'mayim, right, salt and water. And then I came and I told you there's another thing as well. Keminu pitriot, different types of mushrooms. So you see from here that even though I went and I told you a general rule, and I told you the exceptions to the rule, still you can't learn from it. Fine. Says the Gemara in the 2 dots where it says mitzvot zeshazman grama nashim pturot. When you have a mitzvot zeshazman grama, women are going to be exempt. Menala. How do we know that women are going to be exempt from mitzvot zeshazman grama? So gamar mitfilin. They learn from tefillin. Just like tefillin, nashim are going to be pturot. Afkol mitzvot zeshazman grama nashim pturot. So says the Gemara, okay, and how do you know tefillin? Tefillin gamar la mitamut Torah. Right? Why? Because it says v'shinantam levanecha. Right? And then it says, Ukshartam leot al yedecha. So when it says, Vishinamtam levanecha, which means it's an obligation to the son, to your levanecha v'lo livnotecha. And then it says, Ukshartam leot al yedecha. So that's tefillin. Matamut Torah nashim turot. So too, af tefillin nashim turot. So ask the Gemara, 1 second. Why are you making a kesh from Talmud Torah to tefillin? Why don't I make a kesh from tefillin to mezuzah to obligate them? Why? Because it says, Ukshartam leot al yedecha v'litvo b'necha, Ukhtartam mezuh b'decha v'shlecha. Which means, I'm taking this pasuk of tefillin, which is the pasuk, right, of the second last pasuk of the first paragraph of Kriyat Shema. Okay? So why am I saying that this pasuk of Ukshartam leot al yedecha v'litvo b'necha, I'm using it on the pasuk backwards, which is Vishinantam levanecha. And therefore, just like Vishinantam levanecha is only by the boys and not by the girls, so too tefillin is only by the boys and not by the girls. Why don't I go forward? I have just like women are obligated in mezuzah, so too women should all be obligated in tefillin, right? Sorry, right? So he says, right, nakish tefillin to mezuzah. So answers the Gemara, tefillin le Talmud Torah itkish. Tefillin to Talmud Torah, we're going to make a kesh. Ben beparasha rishona, ben parasha shniya. Why? Because at the end of the day, you have 2 different hekeshim in the first pasuk of Shema and also the second one of Shema. Right? Tefillin lemezuzah parasha shniya lo yitkish, which means like this. Only in the first paragraph do you have tefillin and then mezuzah. In the second paragraph, right, you do not have it, right? And therefore, since you do not have, right, the tefillin to mezuzah, right, because in the second pasuk, right, there's a hefsek, right, of mitzvah Talmud Torah. So therefore, he comes and he says, because of that, because mitzvah Talmud Torah is brought down in pasuk yutet between mitzvah tefillin and mezuzah. Meaning like this, you take a chumash, yeah, you're going, right, you have Kriyat Shema. So you're going to take Kriyat Shema, and you're going to say like this. In the first one, you have V'shinantam levanecha, which is a pasuk of Torah. Then you have Ukshatam leot al yedecha, pasuk of Tefillin. Then you have Ukhtartam mezuh b'techa v'shalecha, the pasuk of mezuzah. So our question was, why are you taking the middle pasuk of Tefillin and you're using it backwards and saying, just like by the Talmud Torah, it's only by the boys and not by the girls, so to Tefillin, it's only by the boys and not the girls. Go forward. Just like forwards, mezuzah, women are obligated. So to backwards, the Tefillin, women are going to be obligated. So says the Gemara, look at the second pasuk. In the second pasuk, second parasha. The second parasha, Vayayim Shamua, it says like this, Tefillin. Then after Tefillin, does it bring down Talmud Torah? And after Talmud Torah, it teaches you mezuzah, which means we switch the order. So therefore, just like in the second paragraph, there's a hekesh between tefillin and Torah, and there's no hekesh between tefillin and mezuzah because the Torah one was a pasek in the middle. So too in the first one, that means even though you do have it, I'm going to say I prefer to use the hekesh backwards, which is to do with the Talmud Torah, and not forwards because of that. So says the Gemara, tefillin, that's why the tefillin and Talmud Torah is stronger, because whether it's in the first paragraph or the second paragraph, it's always connected. But it's so not connected.
Not the same direction, but it's connected.
What do you mean? It is. No. You're right. It's not the same direction, but it's connected. One after another. Okay, but it's not the other way around. Okay, tefillin mezuzah parasha shniya lo yitkish. So says the Gemara, v'nakish mezuzah leTalmud Torah. One second. but why don't I just make a Hekesh mezuzah to Talmud Torah? Which means in the second parasha, we had tefillin, Torah, and a mezuzah. So he comes and he says, so why don't we come and say, right, that learn that just like women are paturot from Talmud Torah, women are paturot from mezuzah. Answers the Gemara, lo sakadad. I would never have such a havamina. Why? Dichtiv says in the pasuk, le'ma'an yirbu yemechem. This mitzvah means that you're going to have long life, which means the mitzvah of mezuzah gives you long life. So he says, gavra ba'echai and nashilo ba'echai. He says what? Only men need long life and not women? Meaning it doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, right, women also need this. So therefore, that's why they're going to have it. So says the Gemara, okay, fine. What about sukkah? Sukkah is mitzvah teseh zman grama, because it says Basukot Shu Shvat Abim. It's Dafka 7 days. Tamad K'tav Rachmana, and the Torah actually writes Kol Ezrach BeYisrael, which we are going to make a drasha Ezrach Lotzit Anashim. That's why the Pturot. But if I didn't come and teach you a special teaching of Ha'ezrach, which is coming to exclude women, I would have included women. But you just told me no. But it's mitzvah teseh zman grama. So what's going on? So Rabbi says Itzich, we need it. Why? I would have thought to say, since it's written, teshevu kindaduru, which means you have to live in it, in the sukkah, just like you live at home. So madira, just like when you have a dira, a house, it's always ish v'ishto. Saf sukkah, so to the sukkah is going to be ish v'ishto, which means I would say that it's the same halachot, meaning men and women are alike. Right? Why? Teshvu kindaduru. You have to live in the sukkah just like you live at home. Some people, they use the sukkah like a, like a rai. No. The sukkah, you come, you have fancy things, you do like Masechet. That's why it's supposed to be sukkot, not just stam. So he comes and he says, so therefore that's why I would have had many. That's why I needed ezrach la'pukenashim, to take out women. Because if not, I would have had a ma'avamina the bemet. You need it. Rava comes and he answers another answer, not like a Abaye, and he says, Lamed Daled Amud Bet, says the Gemara, Itzrich, you still need ezrach. Sal kadaita chamina, because there's also another concept. Neilaf chamisha asar. You could learn a gzera shava 2. You know what 2 is? Tetvav. Chamisha asar. Tetvav. 2. What do you mean 2? Mechag hamatzot. We make a gzera shava from Chag HaSukkot to Chag HaPesach, and therefore we learn, right, that, for example, I'll just give you an example. How do you know you have to eat a kazait of bread in the sukkah on the first night of Sukkot? You learn it 2 from Pesach. Meaning, just like the first night of Pesach, you need a kazait matzah, right, on the first night of Pesach. So this is a concept of 2. I make a zera shava, tetvav. So therefore, what the Gemara is saying like this, comes Rava, one second. He comes and he says, yeah, tetvav, they're both 15. So it says Rava, since right now I have a havamina, that they have the exact same halachot. Now, again, we still didn't speak about why on Pesach are they obligated, but one second, but we're taking it that we know that they're obligated, because that was the Gemara asked, that on Pesach it's also, and they're still obligated. Now, why? We didn't speak about that yet, but says the Gemara, since right now, this is Rabbah, since right now, we make a gzera shava from Sukkot to Pesach, I would have thought just like the night of Pesach, women are obligated in the night of Pesach and everything, no. So too in Sukkot, women are obligated. That's why it comes and it says, right? That's why that's why I need the hezrach la'pukenashim, to come and to exclude women. Okay, fine. Vare. Ask the Gemara, vare riyah. What is riyah? Remember that there's a mitzvah to do shalosh regalim to leraot lifnei Hashem, which means aliyah leregel. So the question is, if right now there's a mitzvah aliyah, and that a mitzvah taseh zman grama, and only because it's written v'tamad dichtiv rachmana zichuricha, meaning only the males. And now 1 second, the males, the word zichuricha, zachar, comes leotzi et anashim. So alav hachi. So if it wasn't like that, nashim chayavot. So you just came and you told me that they are pturot because it's mitzvah taseh zman grama. So why do you need zichuricha? To teach you that it's only males, not females. Anyway, they would have been pturot, because it's going to be what? It's going to be mitzvah taseh zman grama. Science says the Gemara, you also would have needed it. Why? I would have thought to say we would learn a gzera shava riyah me'akel, which means we know that ba'akel, it was also written b'vochol yisrael leraot, and hakel was anashim etaf, meaning men, women, and children will come to the hakel every single 7 years, right after the shemitah on Sukkot, in order to come and to Motzes Simchat Torah, Motzes Sukkot, and in order to listen to the king. So if right now I'm going to come and I'm going to make a gzera shava from hakel, women would also be obligated in the what? in the Aliyah L'Regel for Shalosh Regalim, even though it's a mitzvah Zeh Zman Grama, but make a Gzera Shava, Kamash Balan, Zechulecha, comes Lotzi et Anashim. So says the Gemara, the Yalfinan mitfilin leptura, neilaf misimcha lechuyuva. One second. If you're already coming and learning that women are going to be patur from tefillin because of mitzvah Zman Grama, why don't we learn from a mamatzinu to do with the simcha on the regalim, which is also mitzvah Zman Grama, that women are obligated to obligate them in all the mitzvah Zman Gramas. Meaning that why are you coming? We should do a mamatzinu, which means like this: anytime that you can learn a kula and a chumrah. So we always come and we always learn from the chumrah, right? Why? Because lekula lechumrah makshina, meaning we always make a hekesh lechumrah, not lekula. So to here, I have two different hekeshs. I have two different ways where to learn it from. Instead of coming and learning lekula, learning lechumrah. So I came and I learned the tefillin to be patu, meaning to be poter. Why don't I come and say learn from the simcha that you're going to be mechayev? So Abaye says no. You know why? Isha bala misamcha. There's no simcha on the woman in herself. So when it says in the Torah that the women also have to have simcha, it's not that they have to have simcha on their own. Their husbands have to make them happy. Meaning this is something very important that a lot of people don't realize. They think, no. The husband, it's incumbent upon the husband to make his wife happy. That's what the simcha on her in itself, there's no simcha. I mean, simcha on the man, there's a mitzvah, you have to be with simcha, shalosh regalim. So you have to. Here, no. Here, you have to be mesamech ota. So says the Gemara, 1 second, almana. What do you do with an almana? It's written also, v'samachta bechagecha ve'ager v'yatom v'almana. How do you do with an almana? Well, Michael, what are you going to say? Who's going to be mesamech ota? She doesn't have a husband. So answers the Gemara, she says, even the almana, we're talking about b'shruya etzlo, which means we're talking about an almana aniyah, that she's eating somebody else by somebody else, and therefore that person has to make her happy by giving her machal, mishteh, begadim, and everything. Meaning the women in themselves, they don't have the mitzvah, but somebody else has to do it for them. So usually it's the husband that's going to be misamech the wife, and if it's an almanah that she doesn't have that, so then other people will come and they'll do it for her. So says the Gemara, v'neila me'akel. Why don't we just learn it from hakel? So says the Gemara, mishum davim matzah ve'akel shnei ketuvim b'im ke'echad. Matzah and hakel are two psukim which are coming together. V'chol shnei ketuvim b'im ke'echad, and all the two ketuvim which are coming together, and melamdim, they do not teach. If so, tefillin u'riyah nami. When you have tefillin and riyah, also you have the same thing. Shnei ketuvim b'im ke'echad v'melamdim. You have two psukim which are coming together, and you're not going to be melamed otam, right? Which means we're not going to learn tefillin liftor the nashim mitzat zman grama, because if you have tefillin and riyah, and there are two psukim coming to teach you, right, the same concept, right, that basically that the women are not going to be chayavot, so therefore you can't learn from there to be poter in general. So says the Gemara, you need both of them. Why? If it was only written tefillin and not riyah, I would have actually come and say, make a gzera shava. Riyah from akel. Right? And that's why you need, obviously, the mute of zichurecha. If it was only written in riyah, velo katav tefillin, didn't write anything by tefillin, I would have thought to say akish tefillin mezuzah. So you do a kesh tefillin to mezuzah. And tzricha, that's why you need both the concepts. Liftor nashim, whether of tefillin because of the kesh of Talmud Torah, or the riyah because of the pasuk of zechurecha. And therefore, since I need both psukim, it's not considered by imkecha. Meaning if it's not both two psukim coming and teaching you the same yisod, so therefore you needed both psukim, so therefore you could come and you could learn it for everything else, which is a general rule that all mitzvot zman grama are going to be pturot. So says the Gemara, Yehachi, if so, matzava aken la mitzriche. So he says, 1 second, why don't we learn from all of them that women are obligated because you have matzah and akel, right? So why don't we learn from them? And you also have two psukim that you need both of them. So he says, lamai tzriche, what do you need it for? If it would have only been written in hakel and not the matzah, I would have thought to learn chamisha asar from Chag HaSukkot, which means just like women are pturot from the sukkah because of Ha'ezrach, so too the pturot from matzah. And that's why I needed the pasuk to obligate them in matzah. Ela nichtov rachmana matzah. So okay, write matzah. Because if not, I would have done the two backwards. Meaning I would have done Pesach from Sukkot. And just like Sukkot, women are exempt because of Ha'ezrach. So therefore, Pesach, they would all be exempt. So therefore, we say, no, they're obligated. Now, I would have thought to say, if you're going to only write matzah and not hakel, va'ana mina, and I'm going to say, tfelim chayavim, nashim l'chol shkem mikakal v'chomer. If right now children, right, the taf, right, they're going to be chayavim in akel. Women are kosher; they should be chayavim in akel. Hilkach, and therefore havalu shnei ktuvim bein keechad, and therefore it's two psukim which are coming to teach you the same halacha ve'en melamdim, which means since these two psukim are also matzah and also hakel, are coming to teach you the same concept that women are going to be exempt from are going to be obligated only in this case. So it's two psukim coming to teach you the same halacha, and therefore what? And therefore you can't learn from it. So says the Gemara, that's according to the Manda, and Emlamdim means you do not learn from two psukim which are coming to teach you one thing. But according to the Manda Amar Melamdim, what are you going to say? The two, and furthermore, how do you know that women are obligated in the mitzvah shelo grama? How do you know? So says the Gemara, the alif murah. You learn it from murah avvaim. What does that mean? Ma murah nashim chayvot. Women are obligated in the mitzvah of murah, right? Even though it's also mitzvah she'ena zman grama, right? And he says, so therefore, just like murah, women are obligated, so to any mitzvah which is shelo zman grama, women are obligated. Meaning, a woman's obligated to come and fear her father. That's a 24/7 mitzvah. So therefore, it's just like by murah, a woman's obligated. So too on any mitzvah which is shelo zman grama, women are obligated. So ask the Gemara, the neilaf mi Talmud Torah. You should learn from Talmud Torah. Women are exempt from the Talmud Torah, and Talmud Torah is 24/7, 365. So says the Gemara, no, mishum davale Talmud Torah u'piriya v'rivya, because Talmud Torah and piriya v'rivya are two psukim, right, coming to teach you the same thing, that women are exempt. And anything which is going to be shnei ktuvim min ke'echad, you're not going to come and you're not going to learn it. And says the Gemara, and according to Rabbi Yochanan and Broka, that he says on both of them, which means that women are also obligated ki'ilu, right, on piriya v'rivya, and therefore it's not shnei ktuvim b'im ke'echad. So what are you going to say? So answers the Gemara, because Talmud Torah and Pidyon Ben are shnei ktuvim b'im ke'echad, and anything which is going to be shnei ktuvim, Talmud Torah and Pidyon Ben. So it's not going to be Talmud Torah and piriya v'rivya, meaning according to this shita that the women are obligated on piriya v'rivya, meaning even though we don't pass like that, but there is one shita that Rabbi Yochanan and Meruka, that women are obligated in piriya v'rivya. So therefore, according to that mandamar, you have to switch piriya v'rivya for Pidyon Ben. So you have Talmud Torah and Pidyon Ben. They are shnei ktuvim b'im ke'echad, and shnei ktuvim b'im ke'echad, and then we continue going from there.